Hello there, lovely good morning, and welcome to Camnet TV Breakfast Show, where we aid you to rise and thrive. It is a Wednesday morning, and we are so glad that you could still join us. My name is Joe Smarter, but we go into our first segment, which is the Health Corner. Join us for more interesting stories in the zooming headlines when we come back after this segment.
Hi, good morning, and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. My name is Dr. Nakubiana Mfaya. So this week we are talking about typhoid fever, and yesterday we talked about some of the risk factors of getting infected with typhoid, and we say that usually transmission is through the fecal-oral route. So people who stay in overcrowded places are at risk of getting this infection. So more especially those that stay with somebody who has the infection, the typhoid fever, or those that live near a sewerage and they drink water that is from the borehole or from the well. So these are some of the risk factors. The other risk factors are that people who have HIV or other infections like malaria or schistosomiasis can also get this bacteria because their immune system is very low, and so they are not able to fight off other infections. So today we'll talk about some of the signs and symptoms of typhoid fever. So how can you know, or how can you tell that you have typhoid fever? So as the name entails, usually they would have fever, and most of the times the fever progresses each day. So you might find that you have fever today, tomorrow the fever will be even more. So it's like the fever keeps on increasing each day that comes. So that is one of the classic symptoms of somebody who has typhoid fever. So they would have fever that keeps increasing every day. If you check the temperatures, you find that the numbers are increasing on each day. The other symptom is that they would have constipation. So it usually affects the intestines, so they would end up having constipation. So if they don't have constipation, they would have diarrhea. So it's either you have constipation or you have diarrhea. Sometimes the constipation might start first and then later you have diarrhea. So the diarrhea comes usually in the second or third week, and it's usually greenish, yellowish in color, and sometimes you might even find some streaks of blood because it might cause hemorrhage in the intestines. So it's important that you look at the type of diarrhea that you're having to be able to tell the doctors when they ask you at the hospital what kind of diarrhea you have, because it's important for them to be able to treat you and to diagnose you. The other symptom is that they might have weakness, they might feel weak, they might feel fatigued, they might also have other symptoms of coughing and just body pains, joint pains. So all these are some of the other symptoms that a person who has typhoid fever might present with. So I do hope you have learned something today. We're talking about the signs and symptoms of typhoid fever. So we say that they would have fever, which usually increases in temperature as days go by. So each day the fever will be increasing. Then also they might have constipation or diarrhea. Sometimes they might have constipation first and then later on they would have diarrhea. They might also have weakness, fatigue, body pains, and joint pains. So if you are experiencing any of these symptoms, do not hesitate to go to the hospital as soon as possible. And if you know anybody who has some symptoms or these symptoms, make sure you take them as quickly as possible as well. So make sure you watch tomorrow's, where we'll be talking about how it's diagnosed and treated in the hospital. What are the treatment options for typhoid fever? Is it treatable? Are you able to get cured from this disease? So we want to know exactly how it's treated. So make sure you watch tomorrow again. Invite your friends and invite your family members as well to watch. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook at Dr. Nakubena Mfaya, or you can even watch the other episodes on my YouTube channel at Dr. Nakubena Mfaya. I'll see you again next time. Stay blessed and stay healthy.
Hello there, thank you so much for still joining us. Now that was the health segment, or health corner like we like to call it. Hope you learned one or two things from our resident doctor there. Now we get into money matters and see how the kwacha is faring against other major convertible foreign currencies. Yesterday we noticed that the kwacha appreciated, and it continues to appreciate even today, Wednesday the 15th of May in the year 2024. Now we begin with the United States dollar, which is buying at 25 kwacha and selling at 25 kwacha 49 ngwe. The euro is buying at 27 kwacha and also selling at 27 kwacha 57 ngwe. The Great British Pound is buying at 31 kwacha 45 ngwe and selling at 32 kwacha. The South African Rand is buying at 1 kwacha 36 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 38 ngwe. Now these foreign exchange rates have been updated at exactly 07 hours today, the 15th of May in the year 2024. They do vary from bank to bank and from bureau to bureau. So as you are going about to conduct your business, be rest assured that that's the current foreign exchange rate. The kwacha, $1 to a kwacha is 25 kwacha. Okay, let's get into the zooming headlines and find out what stories we have. Of course, yesterday we had a story where UPND member Vene Hachombwa has urged those in political offices to take keen interest in auditing all constituency officers, if you like. These include the WDCs, Ward Development Committees. According to him, individuals that used to walk the streets of Lusaka are now driving expensive vehicles. That came from his mouth, and we're just reporting it and giving you an opportunity to interpret what that means. Now, this comes at the backdrop of Kalabo having reports of having misappropriated public funds, and we're talking about Constituency Development Fund, the enhanced Constituency Development Fund, if you like. It's now 30.6 million kwacha. And reports that are coming from there are suggesting that a tune of 15 billion kwacha has been misappropriated. The Minister of Finance, Dr. Honorable Stumbeko Musokotwane, has said that he will not tolerate misuse of public funds, and he has instructed officers to begin an audit, to audit Kalawo constituency and obviously establish what took place. Now, the question is, council secretaries have been appearing together with their colleagues at National Assembly, the People's House, over misappropriation of public funds, and they do this at the Public Accounts Committee on Local Government, which was established to monitor CDF projects, to monitor how these funds are being used. However, each time they appear, they fall short of the glory of the people of Zambia and also of the Parliamentary Accounts Committee on Local Government. And we haven't had any reports of stern action being taken against these erring officers. What we're being told is this is the first time they're handling huge sums of money, so they're teething problems, and it continues as business as usual. But reports are now coming out emerging that there is serious misappropriation of CDF funds, and we want to find out. Not so long ago, the Secretary General of the governing United Party for National Development, Mr. Batuke Menda, we saw him going around monitoring CDF funds, and when he was queried, he said UPND is the party in government, and as the Secretary General, it's his mandate to ensure that monies that are coming from his government are being used prudently. However, like I said earlier, reports have emerged of misappropriation of these funds. Did his visit to these various constituencies yield any results? We want to hear from the UPND, and we want to hear from him, the Secretary General, as well, regarding those particular visits. People are misusing constituency development funds, and we want to find out what other projects are being done using the constituency development fund, because what we've been getting and what we have seen on the ground and the reality is that we're only seeing 1 by 3 classroom blocks, 1 by 2 classroom blocks. We want to know, what is this money being used for? And who are these people that are being given contracts to manage these particular projects? There have been reports of shoddy works being done when it comes to, let's say, the issue that has to do with desks, school desks. Let's say the issue that have to do with constructing bridges. We have heard of shoddy works that are being done. What is the party in government doing about it? Because this has been their flagship project, the CDF, enhanced CDF they call it. We want to find out. Now, the reason why I gave that background is because we are going to Kabwata constituency, where street lights have been solar powered street lights in Kabwata constituency, Livala Township, have been mounted. Now, Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Manager Nyambe Wulumba says the installation, which commenced in February 2024, was done at a total cost of 1,157,700 kwacha using the 2023 Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Now, the Assistant Public Relations Manager says the street lights have been installed to enhance security and safety for pedestrians and motorists, particularly at night. He has urged the community to join forces with the local authority in protecting the lights against vandalism and damage. My earnest appeal is, can this also be taken to the ring road as well, so that residents are safe when crossing the road, especially after 2030, or let's just say when it gets dark. The ring road is hard to cross when it gets dark. So can we see this being extended? We do have a story though. Let's go to this particular clip. When we come back, join us for more stories.
We have successfully completed the installation of 28 solar-powered street lights along the 20th Street in Livala ward of Kawata constituency. The project costed 1,151,700 kwacha and was funded using the 2023 CDF allocation for Kawata constituency. The installation, which commenced in February this year, is aimed at enhancing security and safety for pedestrians and motorists in the area, especially at night. The solar-powered option reduces reliance on ZESCO connection and will further minimize electricity costs that the council has been incurring. The street light stretch from Bama Road to beyond Chirumbo Road, and the project actually marks a significant investment in the well-being and prosperity of Livala Ward residents. The new street lighting system will transform the area, enhancing security and visibility. The local authority urges the community to protect this valuable asset and ensure that vandals do not take advantage. We remain committed as the council to ensure that projects of this magnitude are executed for members of the public to realize the benefits of such funds like the CDF.
Okay, so that's the phone call interview we had with the Lusaka City Council Assistant Public Relations Manager, Mr. Nyambe Ulumba. There, talking about the installation of street lights in Kabwata constituency of Livala Township. Now, talking about Kabwata constituency, a lot of concerns have come through Kabwata constituency. There has been a police post that has been constructed in Kamwana South. This particular police post, according to residents spoken to, their concern is that it's too small and how much was spent on this particular police post. According to them, they are saying the amounts that are being mentioned are too, it's a huge amount considered to the works that have been done on this particular police post. That's the concern from residents. Are we seeing the continuation of inflating figures? If something is costing, let's say 500,000, it's taken to 1.5 million. We leave it up to you to tell us. And also, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mr. Maindas Mata also expressed concern regarding the happenings in Kabwata constituency, and there have been a concern that some of the contractors that are being used in Kabwata constituency are not from Kabwata constituency, as per presidential directive that work should be done by the local people in a particular constituency. However, when you go on the ground, it's a different ballgame. We leave it up to you. If you're in Kabwata constituency, please feel free, come through and let us know and tell us what is currently obtaining in Kabwata constituency. Okay, moving on, let's take it to Mutendere township of Munali constituency. Now, you do remember that we had said that Mutendere residents a few weeks back stayed for 2 weeks without running water, and now the local authority has come up and said there will be rationing water supply because of the drought that took place. And let's be clear, the drought took place in some parts of Zambia, not all the parts. Mpulungu has got plenty of water. Mansa Kasama as well have got plenty of water. So they have cultivated. So let's be clear, in some parts of Zambia, there was a drought. Not all the parts of Zambia. Let's be very factual in this one. So residents of Mutendere Township have appealed to Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation to reconsider its decision to ration water supply in Lusaka. Now, speaking to Camnet TV News, the residents expressed concern of possible challenges they might face due to the said decision. Meanwhile, the Zambia Council for Social Development, ZCSD, has urged the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company to implement a schedule that will be favorable to residents in various communities in Lusaka. Imagine waking up, there's no power supply, there's no water supply. It's the new normal. We do have a clip. We'll be right back.
Monday, May 15th, the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company announced that it has started rationing water supply due to load management being experienced by the power utility company ZESCO. But residents of Mutendere, who have previously had water supply issues, are against the rationing of water, owing to the fact that water is a necessity for one's life. Sibeso Bulongo, one of the residents, says with water rationing, it will be difficult to do daily household chores, especially in homes without boreholes.
Because manzi ni shani life. Without water, life will be born sense a man's. Difficult man to wash up, everything. So difficult.
And Agnes Ngoma says the company should incorporate tanks to reduce the impact of rationing supply.
Number one, then you tell you se pese kana manzi.
Kwanza upata kudala man.
Chitaliyo sema pese kana manzi. Manyanga tikulie manzi. Sapa papanga nikambe yaenda kudala manzi. Yaenda kudala kubela manzi. Lombo mkasambecha, mgokumwacha, uchapa nchikulie. Iletako matanki, chaimilile roa pachi. Dafuru mukapo. Manje kulie, uliendela moto kushile manzi ukasabisweke. Ngachose mamene nililine pano nilimbu. Zecho sakuli.
Senchonekera tumatinga tibe manzi. Tavutika manzi tawe Itali. Ambalo kwa hivyo nakamba hivi, kamba yabu kutuefe, afa tuchite hawa izienda bwina. Kama kuna ntofutika manzi, tafutika tawe Itali. So hapa kwa hivyo nakamba so hata tsoi. Hapa mga tuza force. Kandi chintu ya juti tikaibona kuti ndima yechi zambo yitiki.
Meanwhile, Zambia Council for Social Development Acting Executive Director Zebis Mumba says Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company must avail the public with a schedule that will be followed during this period.
As Zambia Council for Social Development, we feel that this is critical but also unavoidable. This is sad development. Yet it is understandable as it is a hard reality culminating from the advent of the drought that the country is experiencing currently. We can only hope that the water utility will be able to stick to the supply schedules that they are going to be providing to specific communities from time to time.
Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Okay, Mutendere residents there are expressing concern regarding the new schedule that is being implemented by the water utility company, citing drought in the country. Now, like I said, let's be clear. In some parts of Zambia, the northern circuit altogether, there was good rainfall. They experienced a good rainfall pattern out there. They still have plenty of water. So just some parts of Zambia where we are experiencing this drought. So let's be very factual on that one. Now, there's also a concern regarding the rationing of water as well. Do we have a clear schedule? And can the water utility company follow their own schedule? We are asking this because of what is happening with the power utility company, where your schedule shows you that power will be cut from 6 hours to 14. However, you are still enjoying power, or you're still having electricity from the time that you are told that it's supposed to cut, and suddenly it cuts around 10. And we want to find out what criteria is being used in coming up with this load shedding schedule that has seemingly or lamentably failed to be implemented effectively by the power utility company. And reports have been made, and it has been confirmed by the ZESCO board chairman, Mr. Nkobe, who has said, quoted in the media, that his managing director, Mr. Victor Mapani, has gone on annual leave. Now, do remember that over the weekend, reports emerged that the ZESCO managing director was sent on leave, but the board chairman has come through to clarify that he has been sent on annual leave. But the question that we ask, and if we had the opportunity to ask the board chairperson, if he had a press briefing, we would ask him this question: why should the MD go on annual leave when the country is experiencing erratic power supply, when the country is or has been declared, drought has been declared a national disaster, and this has forced water levels in the Kariba Dam, since it's one of our, we depend on hydropower, we have seen that load shedding has started. So why should the MD, at a critical point, when we need him the most as a country, go on annual leave? The question is out there. We move on. Let's go to another stories. We take it now to the Central Business District of Lusaka, where accusations have been leveled against the current administration at the Cross-Border Traders Association for allegedly barring aspiring candidates to contest in the Branch A CBTA elections. Now, the aspiring candidates allege that the current administration, which presides over the affairs of Comesa market in Lusaka, is attempting to rig the elections by way of having one-sided elections that only allow voters in favor of the current board to vote. In an interview with Camnet TV News, campaign manager for the aspiring CBTA Branch A elections, Lucky Kaluba, has bemoaned the alleged use of unauthorized election monitors, citing biasness. Meanwhile, the current administration has dispelled assertions that it is attempting to rig the elections. We do have a report. Let's go on this particular report. When we come back on the other side, we expect to be joined by our guest this morning, and also waiting for your calls and text messages. Let's get interactive. We'll be right back.
Expulsion from CPTA.
Tuesday, 14th April 2024, commotion characterized Lusaka's Peace Embassy after allegations that the current administration of the Cross-Border Traders Association, CBTA, barred aspiring candidates from participating in the Branch A CBTA elections. This development fueled and sparked contention between the two camps, as according to the CBTA constitution, it is a mandate for every board to be subjected to elections after their tenure. However, with the purported resistance of the current administration to take to the poll and let registered members of the CBTA decide their fate, the aspiring candidates feel their rights have been infringed and as such have challenged the actions of the ruling administration. Speaking to Camnet News, aspiring CBTA chairman Flavio Simwanza has bemoaned the act, stating that he wants to see free and fair elections being conducted, as the elections are not about Comesa market but CBTA.
We are having elections for cross-border. We are choosing the entire executive members for cross-border Branch A. Now, apparently, what is happening now, our colleagues who are in office, they're not allowing us to go inside. They're saying, no, we are not members because
some months ago, elections were supposed to take place, but it was unfortunate that the other group were most of the time delaying to give out the date so that members can know when to vote.
Campaign manager Lucky Kaluba has denounced the use of unauthorized election monitors who have allegedly been appointed by the current administration to rule in favor of them. He adds that the election ought to be monitored and observed by the Foundation for Democratic Process, FODEP, and AVAP.
Participating in the elections for CBTA Branch A. And what has transpired is that the person who is conducting elections is not the executive, national executive and FODEP, because us right now we are waiting for FODEP to come and monitor these elections, and the national executives are supposed to be present. Now, what is unfortunate is they are allowing a person who was suspended and expelled from the market, from CBTA market to conduct elections. What is the problem? What is going on with these people?
and some voters have equally opposed the activities, allegedly being influenced by the current CBTA administration.
Bonse tukwenda kuvota kuno tufuna mavoti yainde chemaule muamushe mushe na peace pamwamba so kati tuone bena ngwamboleta chongo tufurungani so but tufuna mavoti notile kuti bachinje na day funika chelo ya mene bonse tusirize bonse bachokepo benangu sibafunika nopezeka because wapezeka bonse benangu anabalesa.
The words that I can say is that we really want peaceful elections. You know, what other colleagues are doing from the other team is not right and it's not allowed, where you select who to vote and who's not.
Meanwhile, the current administration has dispelled these allegations.
Market tunakula market na drama zatu mumatumba. Are you sure you can let your shares to be eaten by someone else? This is the confusion here. These are beggars, thieves from Tivoli. How can they come and take over the market? That's the confusion here.
In light of this commotion, the elections have since been halted by the authorities on grounds of violence.
As things stand, do we have elections today?
There's no elections.
Okay. The reasons?
This is violence.
Violence from which party?
From against confusions.
Chanda Mwango for Camnet News in Lusaka.
Okay, that's a report now coming from obviously Comesa. They are in their elections. You could tell from the clip and everything that is currently happening there. We are moving on, and it's good to know that Prince Katongo from Kema is tuned in. Thank you so much for making that decision. Now we are moving on to court matters, where a witness from an advertising company has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that Opposition Patriotic Front (PF) party had an agreement of 11.4 million kwacha for provision of services such as rental for billboards, space and printing of advertising material. All the money was paid by the party. Catherine Mashoko, a state witness, testified that the services were offered to the PF during the campaigns for the 2021 general elections, which were held in Zambia, and the agreement was signed by then PF Secretary General Davis Mwila. This is in a matter in which former Patriotic Front PF Secretary General Davis Mwila and former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice Annie Mwitwa are charged of being in possession of property suspected with proceeds of crime worth more than 1 million kwacha. We do have a report on this particular story.
A state witness has told the Lusaka Magistrate Court that Patriotic Front entered into an agreement of 11.4 million kwacha for the provision of services such as the rental of billboard space and printing of advertising material, and all the money was paid by the PF. Catherine Mashoko, in her testimony, says the services were offered to the PF during the campaigns for the 2021 general elections, in which the agreement was agreed by the two parties, later signed by Davis Mwila as Secretary General of the PF. In this matter, Davis Mwila and former Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Annie Mwitwa, are charged with the offense of possessing property suspected to be proceeds of crime worth more than 102 million kwacha. Allegations are that Mwila and Mwitwa, between January 1st, 2021 and August 31st, 2021, whilst acting together with other persons unknown, possessed 102,600,000 kwacha property deemed to be proceeds of crime. In the second count, it is alleged that on the same date, the duo failed to report suspicious transactions in the sum of 102,600,000 kwacha to the Financial Intelligence Center, FIC. On Monday, a banker from a named bank testified how the PF deposited huge sums of money to animal to legal practitioners between a minimum of 10,000 and a maximum of 9 million kwacha in 2021. The witness also told the court that when the bank questioned the source of the funds, it was revealed that the money was from the PF Secretariat from well-wishers and was being deposited under the instructions of Mr. Mwila. Trial in this matter continues Wednesday. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Okay, trial in that matter continues, and that's a report from our roving reporter there, Nelson Zulu, giving us that particular update on the happenings regarding Mr. Davis Mwila, who is the former Opposition Patriotic Front Secretary General, in that particular report. Now, moving on, still in court matters though, biological daughter to the late former Zambia Air Force Commander Vanessa Shikapwasha has told court that murder accused Jane Lusengo is her stepmother. In cross-examination, Vanessa Shikapwasha testified before Lusaka High Court Judge Concepta Zulu that late Jane Shikapwasha had other children from other women apart from her biological mother, Doreen Kabinga. In this matter, Jane Lusengo is facing one count of murder, contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, in connection with the murder of Ronnie Shikapwasha. We do have a report. Let's go on this particular report. We'll be right back.
Stepdaughter to murder accused Jane Lusengo has told the Lusaka High Court that her biological parents were Doreen Kabinga and Ron Shikapwasha, who died in 2004 and 2024 respectively. Vanessa Shikapwasha, 38, in cross-examination, testified before the Lusaka High Court Judge Concepta Zulu that the late retired Lieutenant General Shikapwasha had other children from other women apart from her mother, and agreed that his late father on 3 occasions chased her stepmother from the matrimonial home but was quick to bring her back. When asked by defense lawyer Friday Mlenga Jr. when she discovered that late Shikapwasha was her biological father, Vanessa indicated that she discovered that the late Shikapwasha was her biological father when she was a child in grade 8, and indicated that her mother did not raise her single-handedly. The witness told the court that she moved in with her stepmother and late father in 2002 and later got married in 2004, but in 2018 her husband died and moved back to her father and Jane Lusengo's house, where she stayed for a few months and later stayed by herself before she returned to the Shikapwashas in 2022. Defense lawyer Mlenga Jr. further asked Vanessa how many languages she could speak fluently, and the witness responded English, Nyanja, Bemba, and Lenje. At this point, Mr. Mlenga asked her to interpret the following to Lenje. I had a difficult morning coming to court because I had to lie again. Vanessa interpreted in Lenje saying, Ndalalinga ndalilwa, uza ukoti, mulandundalinga abejalimo. The state witness, however, agreed that her father and Jane Lusengo were married for 46 years and that she was born in 1986 after her father had married the accused, and revealed that the late Shikapwasha had other children aside from her and named some of them comprising Isaac, Ronald, Milika, Abner, and Mapalo, and some more she could not mention. She also told the court that she was not aware that her father had a conversation with a nurse and physician who attended to him, allegedly telling them that he shot himself while admitted at Mainasoko Military Hospital. When further asked by defense lawyer Gilbert Pindani if Vanessa is aware that Lele Shikapwasha admitted to having pulled the trigger himself to Dr. Levi Mchemwa while in hospital, the witness responded in the negative. In this matter, Jane Lusengo, wife to the late Rona Shikapwasha, is alleged to have shot her husband at their Ibex residency on 13th January 2024 in Lusaka. Trial in this matter continues on 21st May 2024. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News, Lusaka.
A story that makes sad reading there, but still in court matters. A state witness fell sick Tuesday morning during a trial in an alleged criminal case involving the former First Lady Esther Lungu. 53-year-old herbalist Elizabeth Piri fell sick during her cross-examination, prompting Lusaka Magistrate Muyana Simvula to adjourn the matter. In this matter, Mrs. Lungu is jointly charged with others facing allegations of theft of motor vehicles and the title deed to a property. The Lusaka Magistrate Court has set 28th and 29th May 2024 as date for continued trial. We do have a clip.
Ni 28 to 29 next Tuesday. 28 to 29. Mwazera, Professor. Next, ni 28 and 29. Katuikire kutirea among guys that and off assembly. Baleti wakukonga 2.8 billion. Hey, atishanya ni
Okay, now that's a report. Obviously, you can't hold in the laughter. That's the former Patriotic Front Deputy Secretary General Mama Mipiri making those statements. She always makes eye-catching statements every time she escorts either the former president or PF members or the First Lady when she offers solidarity to any Patriotic Front member. Those statements are issued by the former Secretary General of the Patriotic Front, Mama Mbipiri, and in that clip, obviously, you have heard what she was saying. Okay, now we urge you to come through and give us your own submission regarding the stories that we have aired from Mutendere to Kabwata and obviously to court matters. You are at liberty to come through and give us your thoughts regarding those particular stories as we get ready to make way for our guest, Mr. Joseph Kasonde. He comes from the National Democratic Congress, NDC. He is the Secretary General, and we want to find out from him about a number of things, bearing in mind that NDC is in an alliance with the governing United Party for National Development, UPND. And obviously, since they are an alliance government, we want to find out why, for instance, is the opposition being told to produce a certificate in order for them to hold a political rally. Now, this is in a matter in which the New Heritage Party, being led by Madam Shalaka Teka, has been told to produce a registration certificate before they can go ahead and hold their anticipated mass rally in Mandevu constituency. We want to find out from Mr. Kasonde when he steps on this particular set. Why is that so? Okay, moving on in another story as we wait obviously for your calls to begin coming in. We go to the outskirts of Lusaka, and we're talking about Shantumbo, where a 24-year-old man of the area has been arrested for allegedly raping an 81-year-old woman. Police deputy spokesperson Danny Mwale says the suspect, identified as Maurice Chomba, entered the elderly woman's house on May 12, 2024, around 23 hours and found her alone in the living room. Mr. Mwale explains that the suspect then dragged her to her bedroom and had carnal knowledge with her. Meanwhile, a 7-year-old girl of Lusaka's Chipata Overspill has been defiled by a 37-year-old man of the same area. Sad reading, however, we do have a clip.
A 24-year-old man of Shantumbo in Lusaka has been arrested for raping an 81-year-old woman. Maurice Chomba, who lives in the same neighborhood with the elderly woman in Shantumbo area, is alleged to have entered her house on May 12, 2024, around 23 hours and raped the woman therein. Police investigations indicate that he found the victim alone in the living room and later dragged her to her bedroom where he had carnal knowledge of her. He was caught in the act by the victim's grandson, aged 24. The suspect was apprehended and handed over to police while the victim was rushed to the hospital. Her condition is said to be unstable. He is in custody waiting to be charged. And a 7-year-old girl of Lusaka's Chipata overspill area has been defiled by a 37-year-old man of the same area. Police were informed that the mother noticed her daughter was not walking properly, and when interviewed, the victim revealed that a known man had carnal knowledge of her in an unfinished house near their house. The incident happened on May 12, 2024, around 14 hours in Chipata overspill. Police officers rushed the victim to the hospital and a manhunt was launched, which led to the arrest of the suspect. The victim is undergoing medical examinations while the suspect is detained in custody waiting to be formally charged.
Okay, thank you so much for still joining us, and thank you for choosing us amongst many. Now, in our main interview, like we earlier promised you and assured you, that we'll be hosting Mr. Joseph Kasonde. He is the NDC Secretary General. He joins me on set to discuss critical matters that border on national importance. Mr. Kasonde, good to see you and welcome.
How are you?
I'm all right, Mr. Kasonde.
Mr. Joseph.
Good to see you, sir.
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay.
Hoping you.
No, we are trying,
Okay.
seeing that we left our homes without water and power.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, Mr. Kasonde.
Yeah.
First things first, let's take it to Friday. Friday we saw the former head of state, the 6th Republican president, Mr. Edgar Chagwalungu, taking a walk in town. At the backdrop of this, there are assertions, claims, allegations that there is shrinking democratic space, Mr. Kasonde.
Yeah.
Let me get your thoughts.
Yes, this is where we have to prove a point here. If democratic space in Zambia is shrinking, the question is, why is the former president having that free moment of moving around? So this is where we say normally when people are making criticisms, they need to ensure that they back it up with an alternative. Yeah. Now here's a proof of record to show. Yeah. And when he's moving like that for National Democratic Congress, NDC, in this alliance, we are saying that is another way for him, even to campaign, that is another way.
Okay.
But again, they should also not mistake it to think he's very popular now, because the people that you are meeting, they are from different circles. Therefore, there could be some in the ululation. Maybe they are saying, yeah, this is the man who used to beat us with his cadres. Some could be, oh, this is the man that really we couldn't see better development. Others, yes, it will be, oh, this is our man. He used to give us opportunities to enjoy. Yeah. So it's a combination, but it should not be a yardstick to think that the alliance government or its popularity is going down. That one, it should not be a mistake.
Is that giving you sleepless nights as an alliance government? We have heard, for instance, the PF Secretary General, the PF faction, because there are factions here. The PF faction Secretary General, in the name of Mr. Rafa Nakachinda, on a number of occasions, he has said that each time Mr. Edgar Lungu steps out in the public, you, the alliance government, you normally have sleepless nights, Mr. Kasonde.
Yeah, no, we don't have, like we are saying, you see, this is a democratic country and we need to have a variety of leaders around. So, where is the sleepless night as far as we are concerned? I've just given an example. I'm saying he has the right to move around. Now, why is he moving around? That's the question. Yes. And I've said the people that he's meeting is not one group of people who are PF, so to say. It's a combination. And some of them could be complainants, some of them could be beneficiaries, and others could be those that really want to see that tomorrow we again get back into ruling. So that does not matter. That's why I've said they shouldn't mistake that to think, yes, there is a way the stick will be measured.
But how is your popularity?
The electoral process.
But how is your popularity? For instance, on the ground, Mr. Sunday, you are a man that is known to interact with a lot of people.
Yes.
Yes. What are the concerns of the general public?
Yeah. No, there is an outcry from an economic point of view. And those are things that actually, even here, I'll be able to delve into to make the people of Zambia know.
Okay.
Because the notion of making it as though UPND, HH7, they are the ones who are the causers. We are saying no. Yeah, I'll tell you that from time immemorial, there have been these other previous governments. And these other governments, what has happened is that in terms of strategic plan, for example, for economic reasons, strategic planning for global and climate changes, that proactiveness in the previous regimes, it has never been there.
Okay.
Despite knowing the repercussions of not planning for the future. No government from the previously, we can say we are very proactive to ensure that if we don't have water today, what are we going to do? Or if there was an outbreak, COVID, talk about it, what could we do? Or if at all we have drought, or maybe we have poor harvest, what can we do? The previous regimes, none of them have been proactive to see to it that there is that strategic planning, so that at the end of the day, you are able to meet some of these challenges which now people, even the enemies, the oppositions, want to put HH7 on the chopping board within 2 years. I'll tell you that UNIP, with the efforts that UNIP made, yeah, but they failed us for the global and climate change proactiveness. MMD, they failed. PF even made it worse. They brought in cadres to run the country. And what do you expect? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, we had these governments which, in one way or another, they were able to do what they can. But look at what they did, so that when we are coming to make a judgment before the alliance government, you are able to say, yes, you are the major contributor.
Are you not in charge, Mr. Akson? This is your third day.
Yes.
Are you not in charge?
Yes, we are. We are in charge. But what I'm saying is, I have to make the Zambian people know. Zambian people understand. And let's not forget where we are coming from. And I don't believe the way people want to run away from our successes in the alliance government, to be saying, no, don't talk about the past, don't talk about PF, whatever. No, there's no way, Joe. You can never talk about today if you don't have yesterday. And we can't talk about tomorrow if we don't have today. Therefore, I just have to make this very clear to the Zambian people to say, number one, UNIP, they had their part of what they did up to a time of their 27 years in power, okay? In the various sectors of the country, they did what they can. KK had passion for this country as a nationalist. In Vegas, in agriculture, talk of every angle, they tried their best up to 27 years. But when MMD came into power, you saw the hatred that was portrayed before Kenneth Kaunda, the founding father. Honestly, there was anything that was to do with KK, they had to brush it off. Even the man that was a kwacha with just a portrait of the founding father. Somebody says, no, that's why the kwacha is dwindling. They removed that. How are our grandchildren going to remember who was the first president of the Republic, who was the founding father? So that hatred spilled into the ruling of the country, and this country even became a kleptocratic country, a country of thieves. Thiefdoms were done. Corruption went high. Privatization took root to an extent where there was no heart. It was like a having time now for thieves. And last time I was even teasing you, whether I was joking, when I was saying, that was the time when we realized even ministers still, some of them went in mountains with calabashes, beads, on them. And it was because, you can say, it was because that is when the late Mwanawasa came in with a whip. Because you remember, among the vice presidents who was also upright, so to say, I'm not saying others are not pleased, no. One of that was very passionate about this country was Mwanawasa. Because when he He was vice president under MMD. He resigned within as short as possible time. He said, no, this is not what we agreed for the Zambian people. And he resigned on moral validation. But when he was given a moment, may his soul rest in peace, he came with a whip. That is when he cracked the whip. Task force was formed just to show that these monies that you are getting, please, this is money for the country. This is money for the poor, money for the sick, money for the children. We can't live it that way. You saw people scampered. Even at the intelligence level, people went into different countries and stuff like that. So I'm trying to bring this to the Zambian people to say, this is where we are coming from, where a particular government has done its best up to some point. Another government comes in, then goes a different direction, as though they are not Zambians. Talk about PF, it is the same. They come, like I've already said. Cadres come in. Cadres become very powerful. You find the...
But Mr. Lasondi, this theft has also continued in this very administration.
You may say...
And we have members of the UPND, such as Vene Hachombo, are saying that there have to be lifestyle audits to those that are monitoring and custodians of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF.
Yes.
The Minister of Finance, Honorable Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwani, he's also on record to have said, let's institute audits in Kalabo constituency.
Yes.
We're now talking about 15 billion kwacha having misappropriated. Councils appear at Parliament, appearing before the Parliamentary Accounts Committee on local government. They are always giving excuses. Almost all the councils in this country are always giving excuses. And the reasons that we got from those in government is that this is a new thing to them. They're handling monies for the first time, and we have to give them time because they're teething problems. This is the result. 15 billion kwacha misappropriated in one constituency of Kalabo. Talk about Lusaka. The president has said the big thieves reside in Lusaka. Talk about Lusaka. How much has been misappropriated? Theft has continued in the administration.
No, life is dynamic. No wonder we are saying it may look simple now, and it may look like people are stealing, which we cannot deny, because some people they have that kleptomania behavior of wanting to steal. But we are looking at the country here, and there is a process. That's why HH7, we've always kept on defending, protecting him, and marketing him, because what he has inherited today, it should not be like he is the causer. Even those that you may call thieves now that are stealing, a moment will come. I'll give you an example. In 20 years of the MMD being in power, when they were out, 20 years later, yes, members of the MMD, senior members, former ministers, they are in jail today at the end of the day.
Should it take 40 years to prosecute someone?
No, wait a minute. What I'm saying is the wheels of justice are slow to grind, but indeed they are. And this is where thieves take advantage. But then if you are passionate, this is your country, in all fairness, why should you do that? You're going to live just once in this country. But why should you do it that way? And we are saying a moment is coming. That's why those that may have proper information, let them report. They may think nothing is working. Let them report. One day HH7 will not be there. But when HH7 is there, raising the standard of leadership, trying to amass, get everything, inherit erroneous systems that actually they are giving him headache day in, day out. But we are busy saying, sir, get on. And he's on the drawing board as a draftsman. People still want to say, you know, the reason is this mix of the Zambian people. You know, I'm sorry, I can just be able to say, it's like the way, I'm just referring to the way Hamas has been fighting with Israel. You've seen how Israel has been failing to uproot the Hamas guys, because they are a mix. They even be in a hospital, in the residence. This is what we're saying. Zambians today, some are in the civil service today, but they are thieves. Some are just in the community. So to cleanse that system out, it is something that is not a one-day thing. In other words, we are saying rebuilding, it's very costly compared to the time of building. Now, let me not lose my thought when I was trying to bring the Zambian people to know the history where we are coming from, so that when they're making a judgment on HH7, they know. I was just saying the other governments did not add value in terms of global climate change issues, to an extent where today if we have a particular crisis, you always find that it's firefighting. Now, we come to the issue of fuel that people have talked about. For example, We had the time of Kaunda. There was Tazama pipeline, the Tanzania-Zambia Mafuta pipeline, which by today, if there was value addition by the MMD, connectivity of that pipeline can't it come anywhere nearer to an extent where we make use of why that Tanzania-Zambia Mafuta line was done. We've got Angola, who is our neighbor. KK comes in, helps in them to get independence. They've got vast oil reserves. And sure, you can't capitalize on the bilateral talks and stuff like that. You bring a government next, it goes with hatred, things count and nothing did, and you bring another one with the Kadarism one there. No. We are talking about the issue of the load shedding you're talking about.
Yes.
Load shedding and the vis-a-vis the ZESCO tariffs being high.
Talking about ZESCO, are you aware that the MD is now on annual leave during this crisis?
On annual leave?
Yes.
But he's human. Now, why should that, what does that go to do?
Why should he go on, the public is asking.
You never know.
Why should he go on annual leave at a critical point when the country needs him? Same question they are asking, why should the president travel when the country is facing critical?
Yes, okay.
Different people, but same analogy.
Yes, you know what we are saying is ZESCO is a quasi-government. It's got its own administration, and somebody can be able to say why. Supposedly say he's sick. There are certain communicable diseases which somebody will be moving, but you might think he's well. So we do not really know. Let's get an official position from ZESCO.
No, the board chairman clarified.
He clarified.
Yes.
So now, yes. So what we are now saying, we're going to give them a benefit of the doubt, but we don't depart from the problem. That's why I am saying that if we look at ZESCO tariffs and what Zambia is endowed with a lot of water resources, the northern circuit a lot of falls.
There's a lot of water.
Yes. Yes. Now, in terms of value addition, KK comes, puts up a man-made lake, Kariba Dam. There's then Kariba Electro Power Station, Kafiwe Gorge. If another government comes in terms of value addition, what was supposed to happen without hatred, with passion for this country, Zambia, is to say, oh, KK has done this. Let's put up one more. Whether it's Shimba Falls, Musonda Falls, Mambirima Falls, let's put up 1 or 2 hydropower stations for them to increase, not to attach to what he has done, that's why I want to extend. No. Look at it as a value addition. When PF comes into power, they also say, oh no, so there are 2 hydropower stations, then we have the Kariba hydropower. I think let's also put up 2. That way value addition, so much so that when HH7 is coming, he also looks, wow, 1, then 2. So these are 5. And knowing HH, he would have been able to say, because I'm inheriting a value addition country, he was going to say, let me put up 3 hydropower. He can. An example I can give is just an example. Very recently, when we've had this civil service employment, if you look at the 27 years of KK, there was, I don't know whether it's about 10,000 civil servants, that 27 years. We had PF, MMD, whether it's, I don't know, there must be figures. Then you come to PF also, there's about 10,000 or so. But HH7 comes, looks, we can't keep on infrastructure building. What about the human resource? He adds all those 37,000 civil servants, get in the offices, still people complain. Now, I'm saying when he finds something that is already value added, he will be able to get the 37,000 civil servants, which is history. But people still want to say, no. This is what we are saying, you people. So what I'm trying to say is to bring the Zambian people to perspective, to understand that we are coming from history and we're not going to run away from giving the Zambian people to know where these problems that we are in are coming from.
But Mr. Kasonde, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Are the Zambian people asking for too much when they remind you that you as an alliance in opposition told them that they will be buying a bag of melimi, unga, bupi, unga at 50 kwacha?
Yes.
Fertilizer, you told them it's going to be cheap.
Right.
Fuel, you showed us formulas, Mr. Kasonde.
Yes.
Images are there on social media.
Exactly.
Videos have circulated. You told us.
Yes.
So is it wrong for the youth of this country, for the women of this country, for the men of this country to remind you, Mr. Kasonde, that this is what you promised? Yes, we understand. You have enhanced CDF. Yes, we understand. You have introduced free education. Yes, we understand. You have employed our brothers and sisters in the civil service. We do appreciate.
Yes.
We commend you. But can you also look at some of the things that you promised? Are you fulfilling these particular items that you had tabulated yourselves in your 10-point plan?
Yes.
Is it wrong?
No,
For the Zambian people,
Zambian
is it too much?
people have the right to ask. They can even ask 100 questions because there was an interaction at that time.
Yes.
Now, this is where we come in. This is where effective communication comes in. Like one time I was saying, no, by Chikalamba, what we need to do is to make the Zambian people understand, yes, there was a promise of these promissory notes. But then we should be able to say what has been found has got these connotations, which again you can't be quiet, because you'll be crucified for that reason. And they might say, but you mean you couldn't say? Zambians are not objects, they are subjects, they are human beings.
Exactly.
But once they're given information, like the way I'm trying to say, here is a practical example of how previous regimes have had impediments which today are now costing. And you know, we have a mixture of people in the country, those that want to come into power as soon as yesterday, those that are casualties, those that were beneficiaries, and those that are just blown by every wind of doctrine, because now it is psychology mob, they move. And that's why we've got to keep on and then explain. That's why when you talk of food shortage, reduction in the, we are now looking at the food security. The previous regimes, like I keep on emphasizing, in terms of food security, and as well as even copper production as far as the economy is concerned, there wasn't much that has been done because KK, number one, comes in. There was National Agriculture Marketing Board, those silos that were put. Every district had those for reserves. We even used to have times of the maize meal has gotten rotten here, it hasn't been collected and stuff like that. But the value addition of MMD, UPND, PF, when they came in, there was privatization, quick sale of companies, and you know, all those things. Then at the end of the day, they shifted instead of continuing. At the end of the day, here comes now a person that finds that, oh, much as I promised that, I found these errors. We are now talking of the economy here, sir. And the economy also lies on copper production. This country, you look at Kaunda, number one, London Metro Exchange open market. Zambians run the mines from the colonial powers. MMD comes into power, quick privatization, and they go a different direction of closing companies here and there. Selling of copper becomes, under private hands, and yet that is not best. Now, HH7 comes in, inherits an erroneous copper system, and now he goes around. What is this? What do we do? That's where now he has to think. We have to increase the investment in the industry, so that at the end of the year we have 3 million tons of copper, so that we start going back to the UNIP era developmental levels. But you can see those impediments, and those are becoming priorities for HH7. And what should happen from our side is to keep explaining, also mentioning that we are not sleeping or staying idle. At the end of the day, the Zambians have to understand somebody is MMD, somebody is PF, somebody is UPND, somebody is neutral, and when we are speaking, there is that combination. So the one that wants to speak louder, it's a question of knowing who is he, what is he speaking. That's why sometimes you notice even on the, if you have programs, sometimes radio programs, where people like me have ever been called, when I speak something which is a reality as far as we know this country, it ours. Somebody says, no, Mr. Gasode, you are a bootlicker. You are enjoying the money, that's why you speak like that. It is about the process. We have to midwife the process of this country. Ichalo, like I've always said, it is not something like Impulututu, Honda, you're Honda. Then you speed and then you, no.
Why do you tell the Zambian people this, Mr. Gasode?
This is what I'm saying, that you can be able to give a political statement, but at the same time, you are not short of knowing that, I have learned some experience. I think this experience, that's what's going on there. But when you go there, if there is an extra issue, it's better you just mention, on top of what I knew, I never thought. In other words, what I'm saying, for example, here is you are a driver. Then because you are a driver, you're able to move a machine. You can say, even an aeroplane I can drive because it must have a gear and there must be a steering. Go inside, you find different gadgets there. which will require you to look and stuff like that. So at that stage, you don't pretend you know, but you become real and want to know about this, but you do not leave the steering because it's a question of an added knowledge on you. So what we are saying is the process of developing this country, the rebuilding, so to say, it is a cost adventure at the end of the day, especially that today we are looking at the 2 years down the line of this government, and you look at a combination of the years of these previous governments. What HS7 is doing, it's more trips. You've talked of trips now. Yes.
Are they beneficial to this
Yes,
country?
why not?
We saw him going to Tanzania. A few days he was in Kenya.
Yeah.
What economic value are these two
I'll tell you that
adding to Zambia?
You see, HH7, he has got friends, first of all. And then he's got diplomatic necessity.
Can we see these connections, Mr. Kasonde? You told us.
I am saying, here is the, look at the debt restructuring, for example.
That the man we are putting in office had vast connections.
Yes.
He is a business magnate. He has connections.
Yes, and
all
he's a
over
chief
the country.
marketing officer. A very big chief marketing officer.
Once he comes into power, money will come in, millions, billions of dollars will come in.
Yes, yes.
This is your third day, Mr. Kasonde.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, right now, if you look at the debt restructuring that has occurred, it is not by sitting in one place. No. Because a child that will be in one place without moving to any place will just be interested in the mother cooking. Here comes a man, gets around other neighbors, gets out of the country, he strikes a deal in terms of the debt restructuring. Now, if you compare the benefits of the debt restructuring today, sir, compared with the cost of his movement, it's negligible. In other words, get ECL's travel movements, get RB's travel movements. In those years, that's 10 years put together, add the cost. You will find that compared to him, within 2 years, we've got international conferences taking place in Zambia already. Mulungush, there is right now. Is it? I don't know what it's China. I was supposed to attend, but my chairperson for commerce and he's gone there. So all these are benefits coming out of the travel. Now we are saying here is a leader. For example, the previous regime, he didn't have necessary diplomacy. He didn't have friends. Of course, we saw he went to Eswatini. Now, I don't know if that is the type of. We are talking of serious chief marketing officer. He goes, brings what it takes. Therefore,
is the money coming in? We're interested in the money.
Yes.
In as much as there's misappropriation of funds regarding the money that is being channeled to CDF, we want to find out: is the money coming in from, like you are calling the president, HH7, your man? Is the money coming in from his international connections? We want to find out, Mr. Kasonde.
Yes. You know, those things will not happen in a day. That's why I was giving a simple example. Joe, you can start building a home, just a 2-room, with the little money is the way it is in this difficult time. Tomorrow you buy 1 pocket of cement. Tomorrow you buy 5 blocks, 10 blocks. By the end of 1 year, you find the 2 rooms is constructed. Crash that home, crash it. Then can you build it within 1 month or within a year? You find its cost is gone up. Now, why should you be punished when you know that to rebuild it's more costly? In other words, let us not depart from the major contributors of also making failure to value addition. That's more reason why here comes a man that is inheriting a cocktail of problems, but notwithstanding the fact that the Zambian people should be. So it's a question of understanding and seeing, are there any positivity? But again, we have a mixture of small particles of a solid and a liquid, and HH7 requires different separation methods of the filtration, sublimation. Yes. Last time I was saying, today if we were to say, let's look at those that are in the civil service who may be partly affiliated to PF, and then we have them removed anyhow, just for the purpose of cleansing, you would find that there would be no civil service delivery at the end of the day, because it has to be a process and something has to be found wanting. Therefore, it is the Zambian people to listen, to understand, and then to see. That's why effective communication from our side to the people of the country should be there, so that at the end of the day, we are able to agree that yes, these were done, but then tomorrow we'll be able to bring what it takes.
Maybe the question is, apart from you, Mr. Kasonde, the question maybe is, apart from effectively communicating, the question is, do you have effective communicators? You as an alliance government.
Here, last time I was saying, I have where we end, and then there are people in substantive positions who are also supposed to give information according to them, so that we don't vary in terms of what I speak and what they'll speak from an alliance point of view. They are there. If they are not doing it, the Zambians have the right to demand. They even have the right to even petition President HH7. This spokesperson is not telling, oh, this minister, there is no information. It is just only that, you know, when you are running a family, which is the smallest part of a government, normally you try to use all the diplomas, but you call your children and talk to them, tell them, yes. But there is a difficult situation where when you inherit a cocktail of problems. That's why the standard of leadership that is now coming today in all various sectors, and then in terms of integrity of a leader, the passion, it will not match any of the current political opponents that are busy talking, because the 2 years is short to judge somebody. And then what has been found as a cocktail of problems is not an easy task which can be done.
So you need another mandate?
Oh, definitely. Why not? Like 2026, you think he can leave?
No, I'm asking.
Yeah.
Mr. Kasonde, you need another mandate?
Oh, yes, he needs. In fact, he needs this 2026, so that now, in that other last year, we see, you heard me, and I was mentioning that we want to go back to the UNIP era developmental levels. Value addition of what was done by the founding father. That is the best. Now,
as we begin
the
to
damage that has been done is too much.
As we begin to conclude, you are talking about the Zambian people giving the UPND another mandate.
Yes.
Where you come from, Mr. Kasonde, they say, infula pakuya isha yao naula.
Ati infula pakuya po yone fisabo. Nangu wambiranda ati furuwe pakufuwa yepo apasa omuliro.
Exactly. Then where I come from, they say, Mosi fitera kwa moska vulera. Now, we have seen how the UPND has conducted itself, or how it's conducting itself.
Yes.
Okay.
In terms of what?
The running of the affairs. CDF being misappropriated, Mr. Kasonde, high cost of living, corruption is taking place.
But can you say introduction of CDF, is it a bad idea or is it a good idea?
It's a good idea.
Now, if it's a good idea, then you have bad eggs there. Can you wholesomely just be able to say, no, this government is what? Why can't we pinpoint? For example, like
but the majority of the members of parliament are from your alliance government.
They are, but then we are saying is, if you are found wanting, that's why even demonstrations, Zambians should be able to stand up, follow the right channel of pinpointing. There is this problem here. Fire is burning. HH7, fire is burning here. Not to be able to remain and keep thinking until HH.
But are you listening alliance government?
Why not?
Are you listening to Zambian people?
Yes. If today, as from the allegations that have been there, if somebody has gone to make a report of a found case on CDF in terms of misappropriation, can we say nothing has been done? Or where is that substantive report? And then we say, here it is. Somebody is still moving free over what? So we are now looking at a good thing brought. But when you want to make use of it, then you have these bad eggs, you have this also laymen, and we have this strange arrangement where, how do we do it? And others are not patient to be able to say, here is CDF. CDF is catering for everything here and there, but how do we apply it effectively? At the end of the day, you find somebody who doesn't want to support. They will say, no, CDF, you can't use it for bursary. They will say that's not an empowerment fund. Now, the fact is, trying to sort of short circuit and certain things, try to do them in a way. But when you don't have all good guys that are there, you have a mixture. Yes.
I'm glad today the Bank of Zambia will be having a press briefing, they'll be having a presser. Okay. Our reporters are going there right now.
Okay.
I hope they will address the issues of certain banks, okay, that have been tasked to handle CDF monies, who, according to revelations, are now buying treasury bonds from government.
Using the CDF
using the CDF funds. Under under your watch as an administration, Mr. Kasonde, what is really happening to this country?
You see, criminality is criminality. Like I've said, wheels of justice are slow to grind, but indeed they grind. Those that may be doing that, the devil bless them. Let the Zambian people come and discover and report. That's why you remember last time I was saying, HH7's administration, we've been proposing that the penalties for, or the punishment for thieves who want to create thiefdoms in this country, let the punishment be severe. Don't just recover the money. Let's also make sure those people are pushed behind bars. There's nothing like they're being punished twice. And then let's not kill them, but let them be watching how that money stolen from the Zambian people need to be used, so that people, but stiffer penalties. Except that there is this whole scenario I've given you where you see how HH7 is busy, or he's got this headache. The man doesn't sleep. He sleeps, but you sometimes you see when you capture, you guys like capturing, he would be like this. You would think he's a pose. He's looking over my country. Lord, what can I do? Or how can I do it? He still wants input of the opposition. He wants input of the alliance. He wants input of the Zambians. But the speed at which we want to support the government, we want to forget the history, and NDC in the alliance is saying, no, let's not forget where we're coming from. If there's been no value addition, let's point out, and then we help justify. That's why this country will never be changed like a motorbike, you get on. No, it has to be a process where a person with passion, with integrity, with good record, they should be there. Not opposition where you just give opposite views, no support. I think that is unfair for this government. We still need that moment of 2026. In fact, even 2030, that will be his time. And he will be smart. He will have no time to say third term, That is the time then you can say, okay, who else can? But for now, let's give this man, he's raising the leadership standard, which some of us are happy about.
Okay, and in conclusion, Mr. Kasonde, we have 3 minutes, minus 3 minutes to go. Rationing of water supply. Why is this taking place? We have seen that there's load shedding on the other hand.
Yes.
There's rationing of water supply. Residents of Mutendere are complaining, Mr. Kasonde.
Yeah, you see, like we are saying, there is a ripple effect of one thing. That's why in terms of the chain supply of a particular product, always casualties come in. It's like the mini mill itself. We want the mini mill to be at 50 kwacha. But if you look at the mini mill, it is not you plant it today, after it's grown, you pack it in a bag and sell. No, it will need fertilizer, it will need irrigation, it will need a miller and all those things. ZESCO will have to bring their power, and then the cost is put there. So similarly, there is an issue of a power problem there. And then at the end of the day, these people that are in the area of water management, water supply, water generation, they have to give the Zambian people the scenario of what it is. It's more about effective communication. That's why I was saying strategic planning for global and climate change is also very important for a government. So that when you have a particular calamity, at least you have a way on how you're doing it. And this government is trying to look at all those things. We don't want to come and find ourselves in such situations. We want value addition, which if any of these fellows are saying, I want to come back, let them be able to say, here are a few things tabulated under the NDC UPND alliance. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Kasonde, the Zambian people are watching. What assurance are you giving them under a minute?
All I can say is Zambians, be patient. That's one. Then let's give each other a chance. Then let's watch and see. President HH7, he means well, he has passion for the country, and he's got a heart for everyone, except that he needs support of every Zambian. Let's be patriotic, and let's be able to remember our current situation, and also let's remember our history, so that we remember our future. That way, we will be able to make a better judgment than being caught in a crossfire of one criticism after the other, one criticism after the other. And yet, the answer is just with ourselves here. Some are not meaning well. They have hidden agendas, and they want to come back into power as soon as yesterday. And for us who may have fresh memories of where we are coming from up to where we are, we can say HH7, no one can beat them among these. Let maybe God be able to bring somebody else. They can say, all right, but for the way the process of the country is going, we can't make a mistake and think we're going to make a change of the government using the president to be out. No, no. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Sunday, let me thank you more sincerely. I know you're supposed to be at Mulungushi, but due to this interview, you had to be here and you delegated to your chairman for comments. Thank you so much, sir.
No, thank you very much, and thank you, viewers.
Okay, so there you have it, viewers. Thank you, the major stakeholders, the viewers. We do appreciate you for choosing us amongst many this morning. On behalf of my director, Mr. Isaac Chifita, and of course, the entire production team, I have been your host, Joe Smata is my name. We'll see you same time, same place. Good morning, and God bless.